Hello and welcome to a channel update for July. So, we have a lot of series kind of changing in this month. We have a lot of things starting, a lot of things ending, so we're going to go through them all and you can give me your feedback and hopefully we can make sure everything's good. That's kind of the objective of these. Anyway, let's just get the one on the bottom of the list out of the way. Divinity is still, I don't know. It's in an odd state. It's still not cancelled, I think is where I'm going to put that. Anyway, we'll move on from that one. Let's go back to the top of the list. Crusader series. That is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. It's a very different kind of series. People seem to be liking it, which is good. It's kind of very similar to the Fosaway series we did a while ago, which is, yeah. It was good to go back to something different. I like the longer series. It gives you a little bit more time to get into it. I am kind of getting that itch where like I feel like we need to jump forward and do something in it a little bit, like do something more, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. I just need to figure out the best way of doing it. It's usually because I play so much Crusader Kings just being like, oh right, we're conquest this, conquest that, and just gonna go on autopilot for some of it, that when I'm not doing that, it's like, all right, what else can you actually do in this game? So I need to work on that. Talking about Crusader Kings and what else you can do, we finished the Righteous Reiklander series. Initial comments on that were not so positive on ending the series. It's mellowed out a little bit, but yeah. I felt that that series had kind of run its course. We achieved our objectives for once, so I felt good time to end it. I don't really like doing world conquests. They're not really that fun unless you set out to do a world conquest. Like if you from the start go, we're gonna world conquest, you can kind of set up everything in a much better way, and then it becomes like the challenge of organization and all that sort of stuff. When you set out and you're like, yeah, we're just gonna achieve these goals, and you set everything out for that and you achieve those goals, you don't really want to have to transition to a world conquest. And it just makes series last much longer than they should. Like the Elder King series probably should have stopped a little bit earlier as well. Same kind of logic. Anyway, we're playing a new mod. I did look at some mods, like a couple of different mods. We're not going to play the Avatar mod, because I want to play something that's brand new and we haven't played at all before. I don't want to play Witcher Kings, because we played it very recently. Don't want to play Elder Kings, because it's still fresh, like, in terms of that. So I wanted to play something that was absolutely, completely different. So, it's not going to be after the end either, because, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it on this one. We're going to be playing HIP. The Historic Immersion Project. And, yeah, it's interesting. Basically, it's a total overhaul of a lot of mechanics in Crusader Kings, especially with the interface. They've changed all sorts of things on the interface, so it's all weird, but, yeah, be interesting. It's kind of like a little bit extra on top of vanilla, and we'll see how that goes. It's, yeah. It's interesting so far in all of the things, like, I'm very used to where things are, and now it's all a little bit weird and new. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the second slot from mods we've never played before, and use the first slot from mods we have played before. Obviously, there aren't that many mods, so eventually we'll hit the point where we're both got mods that we played before, but, you know, I think it's cool to try out a different mod, see what's going on, and, you know, experiment a little bit. So hopefully people like it. If people don't, then, you know, I can twist back into the old style. But anyway, that's fine. The Cassell mod is very roleplay. The Cassell series is a very roleplay series. Let me try that sentence again. The Cassell series is very roleplay focused. So the this Historic Immersion Project is perfect for the other series because obviously there's a lot of new mechanics. So that makes this series more mechanics focused, and therefore opens up some new pathways for us to go down. Anyway, next one, City Skylines Park Life. Can I just rant a little bit about this one? What kind of game has an autosave feature that they don't enable by default? I'm just blown away by that. If you can't tell, at the end of this week's recordings we had a crash, as in, by this week I mean the recordings you haven't seen yet, which is just fantastic. But apart from that, I'm enjoying the series. Apart from the fact that I'm going to try and do a lot of it off camera again for what I did this week. Should be actually a lot quicker off camera, because I'll probably just chuck in all the changes that we already thought about and then just do it. But, you know, we'll see. I think our city is getting to the point where it is getting large enough that I think there are points where cities does crash a little bit, depending, like, yeah, it doesn't like you. I think the problem was we were putting down roads while the game was running, which it doesn't like if the city's too big. So I think there are a couple things like that where, yeah, we just need to watch out for that now. And I also enabled autosave, so that'll never happen again. But anyway, City Skylines, cool. I don't know how much longer there is in the series. I don't see an end right away, but it could be. People were suggesting open world games and things could be fun to try. Something like a State of Decay, or yeah, something like that. Or something a little bit weirder like Hand of Fate. Could be a cool series to do. We'll see. We'll see. There might be something that jumps out at me after we finish Cities, and I'm like, I want to play that right now. But I like having a relaxing game in that slot. Something that doesn't take an awful lot to get into, if you know what I'm meaning. Like Crusader Kings, before I do an episode, there's actually a little bit of planning before each episode. Occasionally, depending on how much time I have. Ideally, there's planning before each episode. City Skylines, I can kind of just go in, because it's more of a reactionary thing. It's like, okay, we need to solve... It's like, we've got a lot of pop-ups saying we've got 6 citizens, we need to solve that. We've got traffic problems, need to solve that. So, and it's just kind of, you can get in the zone and just solve problems, which I really quite like. Next one we have is Witcher 3, which is ending this week, I think. I have a lot of recording, as in a lot of hours of recording, but I haven't cut it all up into episodes yet. Because I didn't do, for some of the ones at the end, I was thinking we were getting near the end, so I was just recording and then not stopping. Because I was thinking, okay, we'll make this a longer episode for last episode, and then it just kept going and going and going and going. So, yeah, we got some stuff to work out there, but yeah, it was a good ending. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but good ending. So, after that, I don't know. I think we're going to play some sort of RPG. Shocker, in that slot. But I don't know what we're going to play. I don't know. We'll think about it. I have considered a couple of different series playthroughs. I think I said them previously, like Knights of the Old Republic. I'm also considering like Elder Scrolls or Fallout as this thing we could do. By Elder Scrolls, let me just clarify these ones. Elder Scrolls would be from Morrowind forward, obviously. Not Daggerfall and Arena, before you think about that. Not that you would, but anyway. And for Fallout, I'd be thinking Fallout 1, 2... I don't know if Tactics is worth playing. Some people say yes, some people say no. And then there's also the Wasteland games in there, and then there's... which are apparently similar. I think they're made by... I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. They made by Black Isle, who were the same people who made Fallout or something like that, or was Wasteland like a spin? It was kind of like a... I was trying to think the right word. There's a game that was trying to be Fallout or something like that, as in terms of its style. I can't remember how exactly it all fits together, but there's some connection there. There's a tangible connection between them. So we could try that as well. And what's the other? Yeah. So yeah, we do that until 4, and then whatever comes after that. I know there's 76 coming out, but let's be realistic. 76 is going to be a multiplayer survival thing with co-op and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be more akin to a Destiny than anything else, so it's not really an RPG, so we won't put it in that slot. I was also consider other ones like Fable, maybe. Fable would mean that I'd have to actually buy this capture card I'm looking at, and then we could do Fable 2 and 3 at the end of that. I'm just kind of intrigued about Fable as well, because I've played through all of them, and I thought, oh yeah, they're pretty good. And then I've seen internet comments of people going, they're such a disappointment. I'm going, I don't remember that. But it might be because I went in with no hype whatsoever. But I can't think, yeah, there was other ones I had in my mind for things we could play in that slot. But anyway, I don't want to do another CRPG. Pillars is more than enough right now for my CRPG needs. We'll talk about Pillars a bit as well. Pillars is in a slow period, but I think it's about to speed up. I think we've just hit the point where it stopped giving us tutorial-like quests. By what I mean by that is they're not actual tutorial quests, but they are they're quests meant to show you how quests are done in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's a quest where it goes, okay, here are the people here are the main factions. here's what they want, here's a quest that very much tells you, here are the factions, here's what they want, and it's very straightforward choices at the end, and it's like, I pick a faction. And then the game goes, well done, and then doesn't punish you if you chose the wrong faction or anything. It's still doing the, you know, this is who everyone is, you can find out a little bit more about the world, and I think it's moving into the point where it starts actually going, okay, here's the main story, here's how everything connects. So, yeah, it's getting good. Pillars 1 did the exact same thing, but I think Pillars 2, they did actually speed it up a little bit. Well, Pillars 1, there was about, you know, yeah, there was a lot of time between, I think the entirety of Act 1 in Pillars 1 was pretty much filler and tutorial quests. There isn't really acts, as far as I can tell, in Pillars 2. They don't seem to have split it up the same way. But, yeah, we're about 40 hours in. I'm like, oh yeah, we're finished the tutorial area, effectively. Which is an interesting thought. Unless the game just ends in about another 10 hours, in which case I'm very disappointed. But we'll see, we'll see. I have faith. I have faith so far. Although, I did see people who were streaming it who said like, oh, I finished it. And I'm thinking, it's 2 days after it came out. How did you finish it? Like, how that shouldn't be something that's very possible. Although maybe they were just playing on low difficulty or something and just mainline the story. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just kind of talking nonsense. In terms of other things with the channel, I was considering getting a new mic at some point. This one is very good for the price, but we could do better. I don't know. I don't see the mic being a huge problem with my setup, but yeah, it could be fun to try out a new mic. What I'd be aiming to go for is I'd be aiming to go for like 3 or 4 steps up from this one. So this one's like a £50 mic, which is fine. I use a lot of software to make it sound better. Well, I use noise gates and compressors and all that sort of stuff to make it sound better, but essentially it's a £50 mic. It's never going to sound better than it sounds right now, essentially. So what I'd be aiming to get is like something much, much higher on the ladder, and then it would have to come with like a hardware compressor, which is effectively doing what the software does but better. Like, from what I understand, it's always better to have things being done in hardware than software in terms of this stuff. I don't 100% know, I need to look into it more, but yeah, we could try that. And I think you do noise gates and stuff there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It could be an interesting change. What I don't want to do is buy this mic, do all the stuff, set up all the audio, and then find out it's worse than what I have now. That's the kind of fear between doing it, or the worry I have before doing it is like, what if I do all this and then the mic just sounds worse and I just have to go back to the cheaper mic? Yeah, it's an interesting thought. In terms of other things, there isn't too much else. I'm thinking I'm going to lower RPG video time down a little bit. Probably to 45 minutes is the average time for a video. Usually right now I'm aiming for like, I usually look at it, and if we're sitting about 50, 55, I'm aiming to stop. Now I'd be looking at it around 40, we'd be aiming to stop. And then, you know, we'd go longer if we need to. Just because that'll make it a little bit easier to do recordings during the week, and it will also, yeah, some people were complaining that episodes for Pillars were very long occasionally, which is a fair complaint. There's a lot of Pillars. But if we made them just a little bit shorter, if it needs to go longer, then it only goes to like an hour, opposed to going to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, which just gets a little bit insane, really. But yeah, that's my current thoughts on things. Tell me what you think. Oh, yes, one other thing. We have narrative games. I'm considering doing them like once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, something like that, whenever I get some extra recording time. We did the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit this week, which was a fun kind of prelude to Life is Strange 2. So, as in the characters in the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit move into Life is Strange 2, and it also set up some of the theming for that game as well, which is cool and interesting. May do something like Life is Strange before that comes out. I think Life is Strange 2 comes out in September, so we got a little bit of time. Also want to do the Michonne Walking Dead one, and I want to do Walking Dead Season 4 when it comes out, because that's the final season, so that'd be awesome to actually see what's going on there. Yeah, in terms of other ones, there's Batman as well. The Season 2 is completely done now, so that could be cool to have a look at, and There's one other. Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stretching how many weekends I'm gonna have here, but yeah, I'm thinking about we might try out some more narrative games. I quite like doing them. They are slightly different in terms of how you record. They're a little bit less me talking all the time, which is quite nice when I'm doing some recording. I can do some content that doesn't involve like, yeah, I just need to talk for a while, which is fine. I like talking, obviously, but you know, having a bit where we can just experience a story and then I can just say things I'm trying to think of the right way of putting it. It's a different kind of skill set in terms of it as well. It's more experiencing a story and trying to add, like, you know, what I'm thinking during it, like with its puzzles and things and working out where the story's going. Like, I don't know. I guess the best kind of comparison is it's almost like watching some sort of movie with someone else, and then, or like, actually, I've got a better one. So if you're watching, say, a crime show like CSI, it's trying to work out who the murderer is with somebody else. Like saying, oh, I think it's this person, I think it's that person. It's got that kind of enjoyment in it, which I quite like. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of a better way of putting that, but I like it. I like where I ended that one. Anything else that we got? Let's have a look along here. Yeah, so Pathfinder Kingmaker, I think, comes out in August. I could be mistaking that with Pathfinder 2, which comes out in August, or has the beta out in August. As in, that's the second edition of Pathfinder, I should say. Gwent, I'm considering playing some Gwent. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it right now. We'll probably play the Gwent story mode when it comes out, but apart from that, I'm not jumping on it. Yeah, not too much else. Thedas Kings, by the way, it's still in beta, still crashes after 3 years in game, so, or something like that. So that's why we're not playing that one. Yeah, that's about it, really. Dead Island was a suggestion. I just want to address that one specifically. Is Dead Island not like Left 4 Dead? That's how I understand it. So, I'm imagining that that's much better co-op than it is single player. I don't know. That was just a suggestion that somebody gave in, and I'm just thinking, I'm not 100% sure on it, but maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding the game. Oh, one I do want to try out, potentially, is Dying Light, because Dying Light 2 has Chris Avellone as the writer, and kind of narrative director, which makes me very interested in it. I think he did Knights of the Old Republic 2 as like one of the games that I really, really like the story in, and that had a very kind of, there are no good or evil choices, it's all shades of grey, which is kind of what they're doing in Dying Light 2, so that could be cool. Anyway, I'm going to end this update here, because, you know, after 18 minutes of me talking, you're probably sick of it and you want to move on. Although I hope you're not, because usually my video is like 20 minutes long. I gotta hope that you've got another 7 minutes in you. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.